All right, today we're going to be talking about the Maui fires. We understand it's been almost about a month since they started, and media is not really talking much about it, but I think it's important now, just as it was then, to still continue to talk about it and Biden's response to it, and along with other government officials at Maui and the money that they're getting, which is nowhere near. Oops, sorry if you guys heard that. That was my phone. My bad. But anyways, so the government's response is horrendous. Biden should not be reelected. I wish he would be impeached and criminally tried and put into jail for the rest of his life, which is probably 2 years. We'll see. But so we'll talk a little bit about the Maui fires and the horrific nature of it. And then we're also going to discuss a little bit about Donald Trump and his indictments, especially in Fulton County, Georgia, where they took a mugshot of him, and basically how it backfired because he is now gaining more support than ever, and how there is probably an assassination attempt looming right around the corner because they've tried everything.
That's all they got.
And he just ain't going down. So that's a real problem. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and discuss one thing that we're super excited for coming up this season, which is football. So we love football. We are not experts in it at all, but we enjoy watching it. We enjoy talking about it. So we're going to discuss a little bit about the upcoming football season, both college and NFL. So go ahead and stay tuned because we got quite a bit to talk to you about. So let's get it. Welcome back to another episode of America's Dummies, and thank you for tuning in. And I guess we got quite a few things to discuss. It's been a while since we actually have been on, since we've done an episode, but that's part of because, this isn't our full-time gig, and so we've had a lot of things interfere, but we also have a new camera, and I feel like I'm echoing. Am I the only, do I feel like I'm echoing? Bro, we've done this almost every single episode since we put on these headphones to where we just cannot get the audio correct. I don't understand. Maybe yours is too loud. That's what it is. Yours is too loud, so I had an echo. Wow. I hate this shit.
Yeah. But I feel like we need a new audio mixer recorder.
Possibly. That might help, but also might just be because of the fact that I have a higher voice than yours.
Stronger, I would say.
More voluminous. Voluminous. More volume to my voice. I don't know.
Word? There's a word for that.
We'll Anyways, yeah, so we're still trying to work out the kinks, as always, but we appreciate you tuning in, and we got a new camera, so now we can record for, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and uninterrupted, so now we don't have to worry about being on a timer. I feel like we haven't been able to give you guys the best content possible for us because we are so worried about meeting certain talking points within a certain time frame while still wanting to talk about more and just not being able to do it. So Now that we have a camera that can just full on record, strange enough, we actually got a camcorder this time that is meant to do long periods of recording. But I'm telling you, that stuff is expensive versus getting a camera that can do about 30 minutes of record time.
They're more expensive, but we got a good deal on this one.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. So it's crazy. Oh, well, real quick, before we talk a little bit more about this camera and a little bit of background story, which I know most of y'all probably don't care, so you can skip forward to the part that you do care about, which is talking about the Maui fires, giving a little bit update about that and our opinions, Biden's response to it, as well as, they keep going after Trump, mugshot, indictment, potential assassination, don't know. And then, of course, we'll talk a little bit about the fact that football season is back, and we are so pumped about that, so excited. So hopefully we'll end on a little bit of a good upbeat note instead of just a dour, the world's going to end note. But anyways, so don't forget to click that like button, hit share, subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments below about what we can do to improve, about what the picture looks like to y'all on this end. To us, it looks like the color looks off. But again, this is we're not. It's audio, like lighting, camera stuff is not us.
You can record movies with this thing, so it's like
we don't know what we're doing. We don't know. So if you know someone who can help us out, please send us their information. But yeah, so don't forget to click that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new episode of America's Dummies. And going forward, we're thinking of doing like an hour and a half long episode, uninterrupted, maybe an hour, and then we just upload maybe 10, 15-minute clips of specific segments within that longer episode, so it's more digestible. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll get that going, and hopefully you guys can. That's more shareable, more intriguing. But anyways, so we were looking at. We just went to Best Buy, which now I kind of don't want to go to Best Buy because some of the stuff going on about how I guess there's a company they teamed up with that is not allowing white people in their upper management programs. In their upper management training programs. So now I don't know how to feel about Best Buy. But it's just like the only place you can go, at least here in the Austin area, for electronics. It's like they've dominated this market. But electronics is a hard field to get into when selling.
It is, and it's you got to have a reputation behind you for people to actually come to your store.
And Best Buy has that.
And Best Buy has that. I wish we still had Fry's. Fry's was pretty cool.
That was awesome. I loved going in there.
Fry's was an awesome store.
The place was huge, too.
It's huge, and anything you can think of, you could buy there, electronic-wise.
Huge discount prices, too. I mean, that might be why they went out of business.
And you can try stuff, too, which was awesome.
They had a specific room for audio equipment, for home theater, for car audio. Yeah. That was awesome. But anyways, so we were looking around at camcorders that we could invest in and try and figure out what exactly we want to use, what would work for us. And we stumbled upon, I want to say 3 that we were really looking into. One is Panasonic, which is the one we got. One was Sony, I believe. I believe 2 of them were Sony.
One was Panasonic. One was a Canon.
Oh, Canon. Okay.
And a Sony.
So the Canon was the one we were initially eyeing. And then we had the Sony, which looked pretty good. And then we off in the clearance section, off to itself,
just
where
chilling.
It's completely different and not even in the same display area as all the other camcorders and cameras.
It's like hiding.
It was hiding. I mean, even the shelf. So the display cases that they put everything on are white. Most of the equipment is black, so it stands out, right? And then you go over to an aisle, not even the display area, an aisle where it's a black background for the aisle, and it's a black camcorder, black equipment.
Yeah.
So it blended in. And sure enough, this camcorder was 50% off. 50% off.
50.
And we were like, there's no way. Because we turned that baby on. We started looking around. We may have snuck our SD card in there just to make sure that the quality looks good. I don't know if we're allowed to do that in the first place. I didn't ask. I just did it. But it's not like I'm doing anything, right? I'm not stealing.
We didn't commit a crime or steal data or anything like that. We just tried
it out. If we did, oops, ignorance. Just blame it on that. We just incriminated ourselves, possibly.
You did.
I highly doubt there's anything wrong with it anyways. But
they'll be fine.
To our surprise, wouldn't it be insane if it was? Well, I don't even know what kind of law you would come up with for that. Anyways, that's a side note. But yeah, so it was 50% off, and we were both sitting there kind of thinking, it's nice, but it's cheaper than the other ones, right? And with the discount, we were like, maybe we should just wait a couple months to where we both have the money to be able to afford it, save up for it. Maybe there'll be another discount, right? Because it wasn't until we took pictures of it, and it wasn't until later that day when we were looking at it again that I noticed it was on clearance for 50% off, and the original price was almost $2,000. And we were like, no effing way. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and you said we should wait for Black Friday, and I was like, no, we need to jump on this right now.
Yeah, and sure enough, we did. We went back. You went back to the store to go buy it, right? And I don't know the story like you do. So what happened when you're there?
I got somebody to help me out, and I told him, like, I want this camera right here, and he puts his little you know how they have their phones to
scan
it and all that, and it rung up for regular price. And I was like, and he was like, whoa. And I was like, well, you have to honor this price here, though, right? And he's like, yeah. So we go to the register. Obviously, you know, he called the manager, and we got it for half off.
The fact that they have to honor that is awesome.
Yeah. I took a picture of it, too.
Got it, yeah.
Yeah. But I think I would have fought a little bit because, you know, that's the price they have displayed.
Yeah, and if they do the whole price match, and it's like, if you find it cheaper somewhere else and you're able to prove it, then we'll meet that price. Then it should be the same thing. If it's on display for 50% off, and that's what you thought you were buying is 50% off, then we have to honor that.
Yeah.
Not to mention, they didn't have any in the store.
No, we had to wait for it to get shipped there.
I wonder if they had the price had anything to do with that. I don't even know why it was on sale. Yeah, I went online to look up the specs and everything of it, and it was showing its normal price. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So I have no idea, but someone over there probably got a butt chewing because
maybe they made a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know, but someone over there got their ass chewed out because they made a big mistake by not updating that when they should have.
Yeah.
Well, it's like clearly that clearance was.
It's like football, you know. The defense makes a mistake, and you capitalize.
Oh yeah, offense.
And that's what we did.
We got a touchdown.
Yeah.
Woo! We won. We won in the last seconds. But all right, so hopefully it looks a lot better than the other one. Obviously, we are not worried anymore about record times, and
we can just talk.
We can just talk freely without having to worry about anything going on. We are still keeping track of the time because, you know, not everybody's just going to sit there and be like, yeah, great story, bro. And then they tune out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, most people probably put this on in the background anyways. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and dive into our first story of the day. I say story, but it's more like topic. I should have just said topic, not story. My bad. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and go with the first topic for today, and that is going to be about the Maui fires. This started, like August 9th or so? So August 8th, August 9th timeframe. And it is now, as of this recording, September 6th. I got to say, it's almost been a month, and August feels like so much shit happened in August. So much stuff. And it feels like it was 2 months packed into one. I mean, August felt so long. And the fact that there's been so much coverage on the Maui fires within the first 2 weeks, now it's kind of died off. Right? It's no longer in the mainstream media. It's no longer being covered on a day-to-day basis. You're not really getting much updates unless you look it up specifically for updates.
Well, mainstream has, kind of shifted stories and
to Trump's mugshot in the Republican primary.
The event is very much still ongoing. Like, there's still people missing. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. But what really messed me up was Biden's response.
Dude, so many people hated Biden's response. Even the people in is it Lahaina? Is that how you pronounce it? Lahaina?
Yeah.
Yeah. That area of Maui that was devastated by the fires. When Biden was coming in to Maui, he was being greeted by a bunch of people, by a bunch of residents of Maui and Lahaina.
Yeah,
they were flipping him off. There were signs to
thanks for nothing,
leave. People were saying F you. Yeah. All sorts of, pejoratives and, stuff that he honestly, in my opinion, rightly deserves, and he deserves way
like when they
more
asked him when he was going, no comment.
I know, it's just like, hey, what do you have to say about the Maui fires? Like, when they're coming, no comment. What do you mean no comment? That's your responsibility. Yeah. Where's FEMA? Where's the immediate flying over there and seeing what you can do? I mean, no, you're gonna go on you're gonna be on vacation when they ask you, and you say no comment. Then you come back, and then you go back for a day or two. Then you go back to vacation at $1 billion, a billionaire's friend, a friend of theirs. He was a billionaire who's a Democrat donor and is also an activist in the climate area. and he's got a $15 million property in Nevada or some shit, and you're going to go stay there for like a week.
Mind you, that's the same thing they're accusing Clarence Thomas of doing.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's going to stay there for a week at a billionaire's multi-million-dollar lakefront property, and you're going to wait 5-6 days till you actually go see Maui, and then when you're there, you try to make it about yourself, and then when you're there, your response is, the people of the United States stand with you? What the fuck you mean?
I don't think he even
realizes that it's the United States.
Yeah, like,
dude, he is so demented.
Then he gives them the story about his kitchen burning down and how he feels for them because he almost lost his house.
He almost lost his house. He almost lost his wife.
His cat.
He almost lost his his
Ruffles.
60
whatever his
he almost
name is.
lost his 67 Corvette. He said that.
Yeah, he did.
I almost lost my cat and my 67 Corvette.
Yeah. What a
douche, what do you mean? Who cares?
I'm surprised some of those big boy Hawaiian boys didn't like do something.
Oh, dude, they would have gone to jail for sure.
Yeah. They probably would have been.
Well, the Secret Service probably would have shot him. Yeah, but I would have.
Can you imagine
if I was
anger,
there,
oh my god,
you can see it in their faces. You can see it in their faces. And if I honestly though, if I were, by the way, we'll get to the fact that his story about the fire in his house is nowhere near to the levels of which he makes it out to be. I mean, he is a pathological liar.
Yeah, small kitchen fire.
It's a small kitchen fire. No one was in danger. It was maintained within 20 minutes. He did not almost lose. It was also confined to the kitchen.
Yeah, he didn't almost lose his house. It didn't
almost lose his house.
It didn't do any structural damage.
No.
It didn't almost kill anybody.
No, and
you almost didn't lose your 57 Corvette.
67.
67.
Better year.
Whatever.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Either way,
guy's lying.
The dude lies, just like he lies about, traveling a million miles on Amtrak and meeting and talking to a guy who was dead at the time that he says he talked to him. He's also a liar about the fact that he didn't know anything about his son's business dealings overseas, that he didn't profit from them. He is the most corrupt, pathetic, demented liar that we've ever had in the Oval Office. I mean, the only person that is probably more corrupt or just as corrupt is probably Barack Obama. The only thing is Barack Obama was somewhat coherent and could actually formulate a sentence or two and do stuff on the world stage.
He was a good talker.
Yeah, and Joe Biden is not there. He is just, I mean, literally, if you are familiar with the movie Weekend at Bernie's, where Bernie is, the Uncle Bernie or whatever, is dead and they pretend like he's alive.
Yeah.
That's pretty much Joe Biden. I mean, this is America at Biden's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously. Biden is dead, cognitively speaking. Cognitively speaking. And we are at the helm of the deep state cabal that is running the government right now. And it's all Democrat tyrannical leftist goons, creeps, and whatever else you can think of. Corrupt pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Controlling the American people, controlling the government, leading us to World War III, ruining your dollar, causing inflation to skyrocket. And then when a natural disaster like this happens, what do? Oh, the United States is with you. Even though I didn't come say anything for 5 days, I didn't come visit for 5 days. And I was only here for like a day, and then I went back to vacation. It's like, I feel like President Biden, which I wish that wasn't a title, former Vice President Biden. There we go. I feel like he treated Maui as if it was an inconvenience that interrupted his retirement.
He treated it honestly, like they were a different country.
Treated like they're a different country.
Yeah.
Treated as an inconvenience. I feel like Joe Biden is treating his presidency as his retirement.
It's like
he should be retired.
It's like a vacation for him. He should have been retired a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like as soon as he became president, he was like, "Oh, third try, I got it, and I can finally just chill and relax because I accomplished everything that I needed and I wanted, including getting rich off the vice presidency and."
Fuck it.
And I ain't going to be held accountable because I have the big D next to my name.
Yeah.
Big Democrat.
It's like what you were talking about the other day. Like, these officials, like the retirement age is 67. At 67, get them out of there.
I don't understand why they don't
Have them retired, like retired.
age limits. Even on the Republican side, Donald Trump, he's getting there. He's only a few years younger than Biden, but cognitively he's all there.
Yeah,
cognitively he's still as sharp as ever.
He can talk. He can defend himself in a debate, if not crush you.
Yeah.
So
he's entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so
have
Trump
you,
still.
Have you seen him hit a golf ball? He can still hit a golf ball.
Yeah, he's still active.
Yeah.
You know, he can probably ride a bike without falling.
Yeah. Landing.
Or go up some stairs without tripping.
Pick me up.
And he can follow directions, and he can find his way off stage without being directed by someone else and looking like a dumbass.
Yeah.
He can actually name Maui instead of saying that, that place that's on TV all the time. Oh, I can't believe he said that. No comment. When are you going? Another one is, when are you going to Maui? Not anytime soon.
No.
He said that, and then of course, whenever the backlash got too much for him and his
White
campaign,
House,
the White House to cover.
The White House tried to cover it with, the president comes and they have to block roads and all that, and we can't do that right now because they need assistance, and we don't want to hinder that effort. What effort?
Where was FEMA?
Yeah.
Where was FEMA? Not on the ground helping.
No, what effort?
Residents there said, I have not seen or spoken to anybody in regards to FEMA.
Residents there said they couldn't get, like, water or, rice, like, basic, stuff that FEMA should be able to handle.
And, of course, if you know anything about Hawaii and how expensive that place is, everybody who were, I guess, who lived in that area and were affected by it and lost their home, lost their lively possessions, or lost loved ones, including hundreds of them, probably kids. I'm telling you, there's someone who found
not probably.
There was a family that their child was found burnt, wrapped around hugging their dog. Okay, and this man
says no comment.
And this man says no comment. This man wants to give you $700 per family. Per family, not per person, per family. So a couple $1 million, while on the same day requesting Congress to approve $200 million more in aid for Ukraine. And he spent billions of our taxpayer dollars to go support a war in Ukraine that has nothing to do with us, but everything to do with him and his corruption. But he will not give the American people that suffered a horrific natural disaster caused by down power lines because the city of Maui and the government of Hawaii were not keeping up to date, and they refused to turn on the sirens. They refused to release water in time. They put blockades on the city, and people only survived because they defied those blockades.
Disaster.
And you want to give them $700 per family, and you want to say that American people are with you after the only reason why you visited is because you kept getting backlash in the public spotlight because you thought it would be a PR campaign? Yeah, are you fucking kidding me?
He probably would have never went.
No, he wouldn't. He didn't visit the border for over a year when he got elected, when millions of people were going in.
And it's like people that don't like Trump, that's fine. But Trump has one thing, and he's going to take care of us first before anybody else.
Yes.
And that needs to happen because the country's falling apart.
The country's falling apart
and we're helping out all these other people, and we're over here watching people get burnt alive.
Because the people that we keep putting in power don't give a shit about us. No. They care about power, and they care about money. Okay, I don't know, at this point, I don't know how you don't see that Joe Biden is a feckless, corrupt creep living in the White House, and he is absolutely demented. He does not have 100% cognitive ability. I don't even think he has 10% cognitive ability. He's always on vacation. He's never in the Oval Office doing his job, and you want to continue to vote for him because you don't like the things that Donald Trump says? Grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Grow up. People say shit you don't like all the time.
Look at the bigger
picture. But look at the bigger picture. Look at the job he's been able to do. And look at what Joe Biden's done. Joe Biden has made everybody's life worse. He has done nothing but to increase his own power and his own wealth at the expense of the American people. Yeah. His response to Maui should just show it, to just tell you everything you have to know.
Yeah, you shouldn't look anywhere past that.
I mean, his response, him telling FEMA, or his response with FEMA, his response when he got there, his speech that when he got there trying to make it all by himself, forgetting the name of the place, saying that there's some smaller fires on the big island, not like that, that small one that's on the, the one that's on the TV all the time, or what do you have to say about the Maui fires? No comment. What do you mean no comment? Oh, I know. It means he doesn't pay any attention to it because he doesn't care.
He doesn't
know anything about it because he's on vacation.
The questions are being asked with the island's name. And he still doesn't know the name.
And then he acts as if they're a third world country that we're just there to help you out. I mean, that is such a slap in the face. $700 may not even get you groceries for a week.
No,
it's not in Hawaii. Where are you going to live? Yeah. $700 ain't going to pay for 2 nights at a hotel.
You don't have a home. You don't have food. You lost everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to slap them with $700 and send $200 million to Ukraine?
An additional $200 million on top of tens of billions, over $130 billion to Ukraine? For what?
There's a video of Obama doing a speech, and the crowd goes ballistic, yelling, F Joe Biden. And it just got louder and louder, and Obama's like, but you see, we can't have and it just got louder and louder. Mm-hmm. And I like that.
Was he trying to say we just can't have a conversation?
Yeah, he was trying to get the crowd to calm down, but they weren't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they just kept going.
Because the American people are fed up. You know, people say that, like, for instance, Dan Bongino says it just hasn't gotten bad enough for these people. It just hasn't gotten bad enough for these people in democratic cities.
Yeah, but they need to wake up now, because when it gets bad enough, it'll be too late.
Well, here's the thing: Rudy Giuliani wasn't voted into office until they had like over 2,000 homicides in 1 year at New York, because he lost his original campaign. It was 4 more years under a Democrat mayor. And he did nothing with the crime. And then it got bad enough till they finally did Rudy Giuliani. I think Dan Bongino he's way more correct and astute with all this stuff than we can ever be, right? I mean, he's got experience and time under his belt that we'll never have. But I can tell you right now, based on all the videos on social media, all the news articles, all the speeches that these guys are doing, like Barack Obama and the response by the people, no one who's a Republican is going to go see a Barack Obama speech. It's all going to be Democrats. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, based on how everybody's responding across the board and the exodus from these states like California, New York, Oregon, Illinois, right? The exodus that's going from all these states, and they're going to places like Texas and Florida, which are some of the most pro-America, pro-Constitution, First, Second Amendment states, and anti-big government. The people going to all these places, which is going to probably change who they are and how they vote. You're seeing a shift. I mean, we saw the shift in 2022 during the midterm elections. You saw all these articles and polls and stuff like that about, there's going to be a red tsunami in the 2022 midterm election, right? We didn't have a red tsunami, right? I think, obviously, I don't trust polls. I don't believe in the polls. I don't think they actually reflect people's opinions and stances on people and issues in the political realm. I don't trust them. I think they're a bunch of baloney. I think they're a bunch of bullshit. And I don't think you should either, because they've never panned out to be true.
To have real poll numbers, you would have to conduct an election.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In 2016, Donald Trump was down by several points in the polls in reference to Hillary Clinton, and he won.
Yeah.
So I don't trust it whatsoever. We all know about the 2020 election. That was not necessarily secure, free, and fair, but we'll leave that at that.
They're trying
in 2022, and they're trying to interfere in the 2024, but trying to take Trump off of the ballot and using the 14th Amendment, which means if you enacted an insurrection, if you enacted an insurrection, you can't hold office. But he was never tried or never brought charges up against it for insurrection. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, in 2022, if you look at the state, the country, from sea to sea, from west to east, north to south, Alaska, Hawaii. If you look at a county by county basis, you see more red across that map than blue. You see red everywhere, right? It was maybe you don't get the overall votes because of places like Los Angeles and New York where they hold in Chicago where they hold a large amount of people in such a small area. But if you look at all the rural areas, all the suburban areas, and many of the urban areas in some of these Democrat states and in the lesser populated Democrat states, and of course in all the red states, it's just red county after red county after red county after red county. Mm-hmm. And we had 5 more million votes go for Republicans than Democrats in the midterm. In the midterm, people don't show up for the midterm. Very little people will show up for the midterm. And if you think that 2024 is going to be any different, if you think that 2024 is not going to see a major increase in Republican support and conservative support, I think you're terribly mistaken. I think if you say the polls just don't reflect it, the polls just aren't going to show it. We're not there, right? We haven't had enough that much time yet, or we haven't had enough hurt yet. It hasn't gotten bad enough yet for Republicans to win. I think everybody who's reporting on this they're not seeing it.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are in this on a day-to-day basis. Maybe they're too close to see it. Maybe because we kind of sit back a little bit because, we're just not in this on a day-to-day basis. I feel like we're about to see a huge red wave akin to the Ronald Reagan era.
That's a good way of seeing it. It's like at the movie theater, when you sit in the way front and you can't see the whole screen.
You can't see the whole screen. So you got to back up.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing right now. I think you're seeing a massive shift across the entire country going away from Joe Biden and the Democrat Party.
Yeah, and they know it too. That's why they indicted Trump.
Everybody says they can't have Trump in office because of how he's going to attack them. They can't have Trump in office because he is going to going to expose them. All that's true. But I think the biggest part about it is they're trying to maintain their power, and they see how much support he's getting. And I think internally they are able to determine that a little bit more.
They know they're
a little bit better than using polls.
Yeah.
They can determine basically where everybody's at culturally speaking, and how the political response has been in a lot of these heavily Democrat states. I think they can see we're losing the grip on the populace. We're losing grip, which is why we have to bring back the fear of COVID so we can bring back the mail-in ballots.
They're ramping that up. They're ramping the masks up so they can bring back the mail-in ballots and do what they did 2020.
And here's the thing. All this stuff about COVID didn't really come back until Donald Trump's numbers in terms of support spiked greatly again
when their attempts failed.
And it spiked greatly, and he got over $7 million in support within 48 hours when he took that mugshot in Fulton County, Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a pivot to our next story. Yeah, so we're going to pivot to our next story about Donald Trump and the looming potential assassination. Because I mean, if you know anything about, if you saw the Fulton County, him on his way to the Fulton County jail, right? You had like eight motorcycles leading the way, blacked out SUV.
It was like 15, 20 motorcycles.
Like, I mean,
was
it? I only saw 8. I mean, then again, I only saw the ones in the front.
Like when he got into, before he got into the little streets, when they were getting like on the highway, I think, there was like at least 10. And then you had all the Secret Service trucks, all the Escalades. There was a fucking SWAT car following the brigade. Ambulance, medical vehicles.
That right there just goes to show you there's more to it than what you see. I mean, you think that just to go to a jail that they're going to lock down for his safety, they're going to have all of that on the road there on
for
the
a former president.
For a former president.
None of them have a brigade that big.
And I don't think any of them were paid hires. Paid security. I think they're all Secret Service and all cops.
It could be. But then Donald Trump has money. Maybe he hired some more people.
But at the same time, is that even allowed? I don't even know if that's allowed in conjunction with the Secret Service.
But I know when Biden goes around, I don't know if it's as big. I would have to look it up. But Trump's is pretty big.
Maybe not as big, but they put more precautions because he is the president. But the crazy thing is that they know something's I mean, there are threats. Obviously,
Yeah.
there are threats,
There's threats
about
every
everybody.
day, but
But-
this administration literally probably messed around with the election on 2020, most likely.
Hey, Joe Biden said it himself. We have put
tried
together.
to impeach him a few times from 16 to
Before
20.
we do that, real quick though, in 2020, during his campaign, Joe Biden even said we have put together the most extensive voter fraud organization together, and all the fact checkers were saying he meant to say anti-voter fraud.
Right.
Nah, that bitch is inept, incompetent, and demented, and it was a Freudian slip. He meant voter fraud, as in we got this in the bag. Why do you think he was so confident? Why do you think he didn't go campaign? Why do you think he went it from his basement?
He either is competent
And didn't do debates.
That's what he actually said, or they just proved to us that he is incompetent and shouldn't be president. If you have to correct him,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
get him the fuck out of there.
and he shouldn't. And anyways, but yeah, they tried to impeach him.
So they tried to impeach him
Twice.
They tried to mess with the elections. Then the indictments came. How many? 4 with 72
Well,
counts.
6 total. I mean, you got 4. You got 2. I think was it. So you had the one that wasn't from the government. You had the one that was the lady
In New York, right?
I forgot where she was based out, but that lady that
said that
claimed that he assaulted sexually assaulted her,
like
which
that.
by the way they didn't even find him liable of that. It was a civil court. And so now she's trying to sue him again for defamation, but she's like, woman, he's talking about a case and you're now in the public limelight. Yeah. Good luck with that. But so then there's the case against against the Trump organization in New York by DA Bragg. And by the way, in all the 34 indictments or whatever for specifically New York case, it's always about the Trump. The only thing named is the Trump organization. Not Donald Trump, the Trump organization. So in order for you to get Trump, A, you have to have proof. B, you have to charge Donald Trump specifically because Donald Trump may own the company, but it doesn't mean that he is responsible for everything that goes on in that company. Especially when he's doing campaigns and when he's the president.
And that's why Georgia went ahead and indicted with the RICO Act.
Yeah, because they're trying to tie him to his lawyers.
Yeah.
So now you can go to
now he's a
jail
mobster.
for being a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I got to look more into it, but Bongino was saying that he was not giving the right to have a lawyer.
Basically. Yeah. I mean, you also got to keep in mind, too, Jenna
they
Ellis.
took that right away from him.
So Jenna Ellis, it was strictly a lawyer, right? Just gave him legal advice.
That's what
right?
your lawyer's supposed to do.
She was charged for giving legal advice. That's it. Literally, that's it. She was charged for literally being Trump's lawyer. There is no specific charge to her other than being, giving him legal aid.
Wow.
Literally. So, yeah. So now
you can't have a
now
lawyer.
You can't have a lawyer if you're Donald Trump or if you're really a Republican or conservative with influence. And so you also have the case brought on by the hack Jack Smith, the federal prosecutor of the DOJ, about the...
Forgot about him.
So Jack Smith has also got 2 cases. One in Florida, which is about Donald Trump's documents. And then you got the one in D.C., which I'm blanking on what the one in D.C. is about. Which that one's the one that people are worried about because of the people he's going to get for the jury. I think that one has to do with January 6th. I know, I'm blanking on that one because that one's not been covered as much.
I think it's the same one, but instead of...
so I think it's this
instead of being tried in Florida...
No, it's not. It's not the documents.
No?
I think the one in D.C. is about January 6th. And then, of course, you got the one in Fulton County, Georgia, which is not necessarily about January 6th, but it's about the 2020 election. Mm-hmm. By the way, Brad Roethlisberger, who was the Secretary of State at the time, who everybody's saying that Donald Trump called him and said, I need you to find me the votes. I need you to go find the votes, which is, by the way, been misquoted. That's not what he actually said. He said, I just need such and such votes, 11,700 votes. He didn't say go find them. He said, I just need that. last time I checked, you can say that all you want, president or not president, right? And even Brad Raffensperger is saying he never told me to go find the votes. He never told me to go cheat. Never told me to go illegally find shit. He never did any of that. So his testimony basically put a big knife into Fani Willis's back in terms of, or whatever, right? In terms of being able to incriminate Donald Trump on that alone. Yeah. Right. I mean, there's other things they're going to try, which is absolutely ridiculous. How people aren't seeing the connection. And now the House Republic Committee is trying to House Select Oversight Committee, in the led by Republicans, are now looking into Fani Willis and whether or not she has a connection to Jack Smith in the D.C. case, which is illegal. And now there are people trying to say, well, this is a federal matter. You need to bring it up to the federal court, not the Georgia court.
Yeah.
So it's fucked left to right.
It's election interference. So all that's going on. Trump's getting more popular. None of it works, obviously.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Assassination. I mean, even Tucker Carlson.
If you want to get rid of him, that's the next step.
Yeah,
you've tried everything and you can't.
And it's not working. Did you see that portion of the Tucker Carlson interview with Donald Trump on the same night where the Republican debate was going on? Mm-hmm. I mean,
I saw some.
Tucker Carlson even brought it up. But Tucker Carlson was saying, so they tried to impeach you, or they tried to keep you from office in 2016. They did the Russia hoax, didn't work out. They tried to impeach you twice, didn't happen, and then they messed with the 2020 elections. They
did.
So it took him out of office, right? He's not in office, but he's still gotten more popular. And then they are trying to indict you for all these crimes that more than likely won't go anywhere if our justice system holds, which it looks like it's not holding. So I mean, nothing they've done works. So I mean, Tucker Carlson said this. I mean, doesn't that mean they have to kill you now? And Donald Trump was not like, whoa, what are we talking about? Donald Trump was like, I mean, it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and of course, you don't see him out in the public as often, right? And he's got shit ton of security everywhere he goes. And yeah, so I am greatly fearful for Donald Trump's life. And I can tell you right now, if there's an assassination attempt on him and he survives, much like Ronald Reagan back in the day, landslide victory for him, and monkey's dead, show's over.
Yeah.
He's president. Joe Biden's hopefully arrested. Hopefully Hillary Clinton's arrested. Hopefully Obama's gets outed with his corruption that he did while president. Hopefully the DOJ gets gutted and is reshaped with leaders who actually care about the Constitution. And then hopefully the FBI is same thing, gutted or disbanded. And it's taken over by some other
DOJ three-letter agencies. They need to be ran by people who are unbiased. You can't be blue or red. You're in the middle, and you interpret the law and you enforce the law. That's it. That's all you do.
Yeah, that's all you're supposed to do. Is just, here's the U.S. Constitution. Swear your oath to it. Now go enforce it.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, that's it. And I don't. But if in this country right now, because the cabal, the deep state, the Democrats, the tyrannical bullshitters, they're all in power right now, and they're all attacking people who are of different political persuasion or ideological persuasion. I mean, if you're a Christian, especially Catholic, pro or anti-abortion, I should say. So pro-life, it's Christian, like or conservative, Republican, your life's in threat.
Those pro-lifers, I forgot where.
Well, they protested in an abortion clinic, got like 11 years in jail.
And they're in jail right now.
But you can
just for protesting, for doing what the Constitution allows us to do. They weren't being violent or anything like that.
I think it's because they're trying to charge them. I don't know the specifics of the case, but my guess is they would try and charge them saying, "Oh, you blocked people's ability to go get necessary medical health care."
Yeah.
And so that's
if you don't think the DOJ is being used against conservatives, why are they in jail and not BLM people that burnt out police stations and all that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm. Why caused $2 billion of damage, 700 police officers injured. multiple deaths of police officers, multiple deaths of civilians, whole precinct, whole blocks of a city taken over, and a police precinct taken over because the chief of police said, "Yeah, don't fight. Let's abandon this." First off, pussy. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I've just remembered that it was a female. That was unintentional. But yeah, it was a female chief of police. Or he's either a captain or chief. I think he was a chief of police. I don't think captain has the ability to determine that.
It's obvious that the DOJ is playing.
Could have been.
It's playing politics.
One of those. Yeah, they're playing politics. Yeah. And it's not about every single person in the DOJ. It's just the people in power. It's just the people in charge.
People that can make things happen.
Yes, the people that can be like, no, we're not going to look into this.
Yep.
The people that make the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's like, what are people tied to Jack Smith's aides doing, meeting with excuse me. What are top aides to Jack Smith doing, meeting with aides to Joe Biden at the White House?
Yeah.
Right, like a month before they bring charges against Donald Trump.
They got that planned out, man. And then they get a case. Oh, it's Hunter Biden, laptop, possible corruption. Get Trump. And that's what happens.
That was an unused piece of paper. You just wasted my paper.
I'll buy you a whole block.
Do you think paper just grows on trees, sir?
That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, it is what's happening. Anything that's going on that has any relation to Joe Biden is thrown away, tossed aside. They're not gonna. It's buried.
Papers grow on trees.
No, they don't grow on trees. It's because of trees that we have paper. There's a difference.
Yeah. Well, we make paper out of trees.
Anywho, but yeah. So, and they're trying to cover up for Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton.
That's another one.
Shit, I'm surprised Hillary Clinton hasn't tried to make it look like a suicide on Donald Trump. Oops. Did I say that out loud?
Now you gave him an idea.
Oh, please. They already had that idea. Anyway, so we're a little fearful that Donald Trump is going to be, there's going to be an attempt on his life. I wouldn't be surprised if there already was. We just don't know about it, and it's being hidden and kept quiet. Yeah. So
and there's an episode of The Simpsons, too, where he gets assassinated.
Yeah, let's not get our
while he's
predictions from a TV show. While he's president?
I think it's while he's president.
Well, who knows? 47th president will be Donald Trump. I know I'm voting for Donald Trump, and you can vote for whoever you want. You know, another Democrat. You can vote for
I'll vote
Vivek
for
Ramaswamy
Trump.
Or...
I'll vote for Trump in the primaries, but I can't vote for him in nationals.
So you can vote... I know because you're Puerto Rican that the voting is a little weird for you. But so you can vote for the primary, but you cannot vote for him as president.
No.
That is weird. If you can vote for a primary, then why can't you vote for a president?
I don't know, but it's...
I mean, you're a U.S. citizen, right?
Yeah, but it's just the way it's set up with, I guess, the colonization of Puerto Rico or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I got to do more research on it. I know for president, I can't vote.
That's bullshit.
I can, but it won't count.
That is BS.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. I can't believe that. I mean, if you're a U.S. citizen...
Yeah, I've been in the States for over 22 years. 22 years.
And weren't you married to a U.S. citizen?
Yeah.
Not Puerto Rican? Not from Puerto Rico?
I'm born here.
Yeah, so it's just like you should have the same voting rights, shouldn't you?
Just the way it works.
I'll have to. You'd have to look into. You might have to actually contact somebody, like with the Secretary of State or whatever, in regards to your ability to vote. Because who knows? Maybe you just had it wrong.
It's possible. Maybe it changed.
I don't know. But either way, I still think if you're a full-blown U.S. citizen,
yeah, I reside here. I pay my taxes. I should be able to vote.
You have a Social Security card?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, I love America. I love the United States. But we got our fucking problems.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're going to pivot from that, and we're going to talk a little bit about football, baby. Woo! Let's get it! I don't know if you can tell, but I love football. I love it. It's just so much fun. Now, me personally, I love college football more than NFL. I just think that there's a certain level of passion, grit, and I don't know what kind of word to use to describe
college
the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of passion, grit, and enthusiasm
the
in
way
college
the way the rules
there
are
isn't in
too, as
NFL.
far as like tackling and all that kind of stuff. Like college is
College.
it's more
Bam.
of the nitty gritty, in your face football.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is they're starting to go away from that and starting to go move more towards a NFL style. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they started putting more restrictions against tackling the quarterback. But in college, they're now got away from the blindside blocks. In other words, like if in order for you to block someone, they have to see you coming head on. So, you know how it's like you could be following and turn around as you're trying to chase someone and then bam, you get knocked the fuck out by someone hitting you in your chest? You can no longer do that. That would be a penalty. Yep.
Hold up.
Yep.
So if a receiver is doing an out route or whatever it's called, right? Like towards the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
That middle safety cannot tackle him from behind.
No, he
if
can
he
tackle.
catches the ball.
I'm talking block.
Okay.
You know how people will get a nice block for the runner, and you just you can hear the pad smack in
so
that.
if the defensive end is not facing you, you cannot block him.
Sort of, yeah, it's sort of what it is. So it's like, in other words, if you're coming to block somebody, right? If you're coming from the side or from behind, and you go to block them, and you block them legally, right? Not from the back or anything like that, right? And you they don't see you coming. As soon as they turn around, they're hit by a blocker. That would be a penalty.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So you can do a block. You just can't put them down.
Pretty much. So it's kind of like it's very akin to you can't tackle a defenseless receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but you can't block a defenseless defender.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's stupid because those are some of the nastiest hits ever, and
especially
yeah.
when a running back breaks through and you, boo.
No, you can do that. You can truck somebody. You can hit somebody.
Well,
I love running backs. Running back is my favorite position. Running back, receiver, and then quarterback. In terms of watching.
Yeah.
I love to watch the receivers go up. Now, the teams that I follow in college, it's Oklahoma University. I'm a big Sooner fan. Never went. Wish I could. Wish I did. But it wasn't in the cards for me financially. So I didn't go. But I loved Oklahoma. I grew up being an Oklahoma fan in a household full of Longhorns. So that was a treat.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, don't you have family in Oklahoma as well?
I do. Yeah, I have family in Oklahoma. But I have some family that are Oklahoma State fans. Some that are Oklahoma fans. But anyways, yeah, so I love Oklahoma. I'm a big fan of the program. And I also like the Saints. Now, the Saints, the only reason why I'm a fan is because when I first started watching NFL, it was the year that they won. It was right after Katrina. It was the year that they won the Super Bowl. And I watched the Super Bowl game. I watched them get that onside kick. I watched them beat Peyton Manning. So after that, I just started following the Saints, and then after a few years, I got tired and bored with the NFL, so I just started following specific players. Mm-hmm. And for instance, Drew Brees, Mark Ingram.
I'm gonna keep an eye on
Adrian Peterson,
Deuce Vaughn.
He is going to be a beast. I remember watching him play at Kansas State against Oklahoma, and he just broke people's ankles left and right. I just was the entire time when the game was going on, I was like, somebody tackle him. What's going on?
Boy got skills. I want to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good one for this year. He might be rookie of the year for offense if he's able to stay healthy and get plenty of playing time.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is just so small and shifty. You can't get him. He just gets in and out. Yeah, it's just he's so small you can't tackle him. He'll go right under your arms. What the hell? And he's so close to the ground too with his center of gravity that you bounce off of him, right? You're not able to get him down because he's so close to the ground already.
Yeah.
Right? That he's able to just kind of stay up. It's that's why people like Derrick Henry, running back Derrick Henry, surprised the hell out of me because he's so tall, but they can't get him down. Right? It's just he surprises me. Is all. that was just he's just a freak. He's just a freak of nature, man. And it's so cool to see him play. And then, of course, you got Alvin Kamara, running back for the Saints, who I love. He is extremely good, agile, a lot of balance, and is really good from side to side. So he's a phenomenal player. It's a shame that they suspended him, but it's also a shame that his ass got involved in a dispute in I think it was Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So... But, I mean, I'm looking forward to this season. Oklahoma's first game, albeit against Arkansas State, so a nothing burger of a team. 73-0. That was nice, even with their backups in.
And then when we were talking, you said Virginia Tech didn't do too good, but they won against Old Dominion.
Did they? I may have been another team that I was thinking of. Maybe it's Virginia.
Maybe Virginia. But Tech won.
But...
So. And I like them because of their uniforms, and I like the school.
I love Oregon because of their uniforms, but I don't really like Oregon that much.
Oregon has a cool uniform.
They got some nice
uniforms. They put
uniforms.
up 81 points week 1.
I know, 81 points, but then again, who's the team that they're playing?
Yeah, obviously. This is going to get interesting, like, come November when we're playing.
Dude, as soon as November...
Texas, Alabama, like...
Bro, Texas and Alabama play this Saturday on the 9th.
Yeah.
They play on the 9th against... so Texas has to travel to Alabama, which is going to be one hell of a game.
I got Texas on that one.
You got Texas?
Yeah.
I don't know, because they were so close last year. They were 1 point off last year, but it was at home.
But, like, people were saying, like, Texas didn't feel like they were flowing good, but Alabama also...
Well, they weren't doing really well.
The sync is off for both teams, but I think Texas will come out on top.
That's interesting. You know what? I'm going to take Texas by 3. Okay. I'll take Texas by 3.
I'm just going to take the W.
No, I mean, it'll still be a W. It'll still be a W,
Yeah.
But my prediction is they'll probably win by like a field goal, right? Like I can picture a last minute field goal win.
That'll be a good game to watch.
That will be a good game to watch.
What time is it?
5 or 6. So we'll be at work. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shame.
Well, I'll put it on my phone.
And I'll check in when I'm in the store. Yeah. No, that's going to be a good game. And then, of course, recently from week 1, you had Clemson. Clemson lose to Duke 28-7.
Ranked number 9 at the time, Duke unranked.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. And now Clemson's ranked number 25.
Yeah.
And Duke is ranked number 23. That's sad.
That was an upset. Sad. That was a big upset.
That was a huge upset. The only thing is, I think Clemson probably shot themselves in the foot multiple times because I watched the highlights and I just saw Clemson shoot themselves in the foot by having multiple fumbles. Especially right there, they had like 2 or 3. I think they had 2 or 3 fumbles with the interaction between the quarterback and the running back, or the running back himself having a fumble. And it's like right there,
the butterfingers.
Yeah, right there within the 10-yard line, right? Knocking on the doorstep. Knocking on the door.
Can't be fumbling.
At the doorstep, knocking on the door.
Can't be fumbling at all.
They fumbled. I mean, there was one where the dude popped out, when one of the guys popped the ball out of the running back's hands right there within, I think, around the 5-yard line. And a Duke Devil is what they're called. A Duke player picked up the ball and ran it like 30, 40 yards, maybe a little bit more, and then finally got tackled by the quarterback. But yeah, they were about to score, and then Duke got the ball and ran it down the field.
Yeah,
and
those are mistakes.
Now, if you look too, what's crazy is I feel like the Duke offensive line may have manhandled the defensive line, because there are many cases where their running backs just got 10+ yards on a lot of runs. And it's just they were able to pound the ball against Clemson's defense. You can feel
the energy too. Like the crowd was really into it. Like it was loud.
It was a home game, and and they were winning, and they were like, "Hell yeah, let's go!"
Loud.
I would too. Shit. But it's gonna be an interesting year for sure. I mean, as far as NFL, I've paid less attention to them. I am excited to see how Baker Mayfield, who, of course, I'm a big fan because he's from Oklahoma. I'm looking forward to see how Baker Mayfield takes over for Tom Brady at the Buccaneers. That's going to be interesting because he was named the starter.
Yeah.
So now he's got to fill the shoes of what everybody claims to be the GOAT. I don't think of Tom Brady as the GOAT. I think he is overrated.
Tom Brady played for the GOAT.
Tom Brady did play for Belichick. Yeah, and Belichick knows how to put together a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may not, and that's the thing too. You don't have to have A-list players across the board for your team. What you need are a bunch of good players that follow a good system and work together
And execute.
If you're able to execute, then you're able to win.
If you work
so
as a team,
what's
and you
his
got
name?
a good coach, unstoppable.
Oh man, I am blanking on his name, but I think he was a longtime coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and he's had several Super Bowls. Oh, son of a nutcracker! I forgot his name.
I'm talking about is it Tony?
Tony Bungie?
No.
It's last name Bungie.
It could be then. I don't know.
Coach Bungie. Either way, there is a coach, very well known, very respected.
We're talking about football, and we don't know the name of a very well known coach.
Yeah, that's why we're called America's Dummies. You guys want more in depth detail of this shit? Go find someone who knows more. We enjoy watching football. Okay, it's entertainment for us. We're able to just have fun, and that's all this is. All this is to have fun, right? Is it Coach Dungy? No, Coach. No, what is it? What's his name? Son of a bitch. Maybe it's not Coach. Shit.
Just type Indianapolis Colts past coaches, and it'll give you a list, and then you should be able to recognize it. If not, then
Tony Dungy. Yeah, so it is Tony. It's Tony Dungy. All right, so Tony Dungy. Wow, I can't believe I didn't remember that. So he is. So yeah, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Indianapolis Colts. So he only missed the playoffs twice with Tampa Bay. Wow, that's crazy. So anyways, so he is wildly known, if I'm not mistaken, for saying there are three things you need, at least in the NFL, for a team to win the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. Okay, those three things are: you need to have good special teams, you need to have a good defense, and you need to have takeaways. So with those three things, you are almost guaranteed to win the game. Defense that shuts out the offense, special teams that's able to, actually produce results instead of just, like field goals making it, kickoffs, returns making that far, punt returns and punting, being able to execute on all those fields. And then, of course, being able to take the ball away from your opponent and winning the takeaway battle. If you're able to do that, because, if you think about it, a lot of the teams that shouldn't lose, for instance, Clemson, we go back to Clemson. If they didn't have all those takeaways, if Duke didn't have all those takeaways and Clemson didn't give over the ball that many times, Clemson would have won. Easy.
Yep.
Clemson would have won. And who knows, maybe if they played again this coming week, Clemson would win, right? It could just be one of those days, one of those games that they couldn't get their shit together. It happens.
Oh, yeah. Especially the first game.
With those three things, you're more than likely to win. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this season plays out. Not so much in NFL, like I said. I just don't think there's that passion, that grit, and enthusiasm there. Maybe in the fan base there is, but I don't see it on the field. Not to mention when they started getting all political and involved in BLM and racism and all that shit. It takes all of us to end racism. Bitch, you can't end racism. Racism's gonna exist because humans are inherently flawed. Okay, good luck. You're just virtue signaling. And then of course they did the stand by these murderers and these people who assaulted other people from BLM. I'm blanking on his name, but there's one dude that was shot by police officers because he was about to steal a car that had children in it that weren't his, and he also the cops were called on him because he physically assaulted his, I guess, girlfriend at the time, or maybe they were broken up. I don't remember, but anyways, he was not a good dude, and he was reaching for a knife when the cops were telling him put down the knife, give up. He was resisting arrest, and they shot him. Well, he lived, but of course he got a visit by Kamala Harris. Yep, a visit by Kamala Harris. He was touted as a victim on all the media platforms. People wore his name on the helmets on football, and there's one dude that refused to wear his name, and he got in trouble for it.
The guy was obviously committing or about to commit a crime.
He was a criminal, and he was resisting arrest. He had a weapon.
To make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and it's just like...
That's why we give them guns.
Exactly. And so, whatever you think of it, I don't think the NFL has been the same. And they've lost a lot of viewership because of that.
Yeah.
The moment they started getting involved in the culture wars in terms of, politically speaking, or getting involved in saying, and then, of course, the COVID vaccine mandates and all that. For instance, Jim Harbaugh the head coach at Michigan, he's suspended for like 3 or 4 games because he violated the NCAA's rules on certain COVID mandates. On certain COVID, he had certain COVID violations, and so he's suspended for like 3 or 4 games.
And that's why.
Like, are you freaking kidding me? Because he violated certain COVID mandates that you guys put into place. Like, what in the world are we talking here? What?
Forced to do something or else.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's how they control you. Not to mention money is how they control you. And there was even a coach at Washington University, if I'm not mistaken. It was Washington. He got let go because he refused to do what they wanted to in regards to COVID. He refused to get the COVID vaccine, and they let him go. Because many colleges across the nation were mandating that everybody, students and employees, have to get the COVID-19 vaccine, which is brand new technology, brand new type of vaccine.
That should be illegal.
Thank you. And Joe Biden trying to implement it was illegal, and that got struck down. And of course, he doesn't care about the Supreme Court or the U.S. Constitution. He wipes his ass. I'm sorry, someone else wipes his ass with the U.S. Constitution.
Get it right.
He can't wipe his own ass. But anyways, all right, so we're going to end it there. I'm really excited about this football season. I can't wait until Oklahoma plays Texas.
In the NFL.
Jaguars have always been shitty, but,
Hey, they did good last year, and this season is promising. They start with Indy Sunday noon.
Okay.
Tune in.
We'll see. We'll see how that works. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I really hope that you guys share this content with other people that you think would be interested. But don't forget to click that like button and that subscribe button if you don't mind. We greatly appreciate it. It helps us out on the algorithm. And if you can go ahead and just subscribe, and maybe go ahead and leave a comment below what you'd like us to cover more, what you liked and didn't like about this episode. And also what you think of the quality of the audio and the video, because we're still trying to work kinks out. But we'll go ahead and end it there. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. And I guess that is it. I'm Kyle McClure, and this is Lone the Wolf. For now, we are signing off. So, till next time.
Peace.